trying to keep my mom's dying. I don't know how much longer she's gonna make it. She's imminent. That's what the people at the hospital, it's a hospice. They just moved her to hospice and keeping her comfortable while she dies. But it's all good, man. I hadn't seen her in 2 decades. I was giving her phone calls, and we kind of used the phone call period. It's like 10 years of me calling her and talking on a regular basis, or sending texts. We kind of used that to air our grievances and, like, you know, say our fair piece, because it was over the phone and it was easier to be mad about it or whatever. But then COVID hit, and in 2020, I made it to her door. I had to work hard too. I rode all the way from Tucson all the way to Dallas, and I even took a side trip up to the Panhandle to go see my sisters, 2 of my sisters that live up there. And it's out in the middle of nowhere, the Llano Estacado, they call it. Terrible place to try to ride out of. It's got a desolate beauty to it, but man, on a bicycle, it's a lonely feeling, man, to try to get back to Dallas. And then I jumped on the Amtrak. I saw my big sister, and then I went to see my mom. I'll never forget coming up to the little Hobbit house apartment she lived in. And I heard her say, "Over here, Jeff." We had a good 3 years. I was going there all the time. I went there every winter for the last 3 years, and I did. And I'd stay there a while. I'd stay there about 3 months. One time I stayed there 4 months, not at her house, but in the area. Over the last 3 years, I spent the night at her house like 45 times, 50 times. Basically, I'd go to that part of the country. I'd go down to Arkansas, and I'd go to her house first, and I'd stay there maybe a week. And then I'd go to the motel, and I'd stay there at the motel as long as I could until I started getting broke. Try to get through the winter, whatever. And then I'd go to her house. We'd be setting up an Amtrak ticket for me to go back up to Chicago. And I'd go to her house and hang out with her there for about another week. And I'd go back up to Chicago. She helped me out a lot. I'll be riding this bike, but that backpack will have to be replaced in a year or 2, but all the rest of that stuff, there's no reason why it shouldn't be. It'll get beat up, but it'll last 10 years. The stuff will last. Those panniers should last 10 years, unless I get dragged. They get, I get hit and they get dragged, because I'm babying them. I'm babying the bike. I'm going to get it fixed on a regular basis. Yeah, my mom helped me. I watched that bike come together. I bought it when I got to her neck of the woods. Her friend gave me a ride to her house, and we sat there and ordered all that stuff that's in there and had it delivered to her house, and we sat there and watched it slowly all come together. I'm lucky. I'm sorry I wasn't there for when she was going to die, but I knew there was a good chance. It's like, Mom, we talked about it. And we'd said all our fair piece. We'd had all good times those 3 years hanging out with each other. Had a few little spats, but nothing big, nothing. Just eating on my food, or, "Hey, Mom," because she was on pain medication, because she's in pain. You passed out last night with your music blasting all night. Trying to sleep in here. It was just enough to make it like reality. It wasn't fake. We were being ourselves, and we gave each other half a chance, because we were estranged, man. It was bad. It was a lot of resentment. A lot of healing took place. I'm so happy. And then all the daughters that went to see her when she's in this, she's still alive, but she's not responding. But she was alert when they showed up, and they stayed up all night talking and listening to music and singing and dancing. I could tell they sent me pictures. I talked to her on the phone when they were all in there. We had like a conference call. Well, they were all in there, and she had me on speakerphone, and she sounded so happy to see her daughters again. I just told her, "I'm sorry I'm not there, but I've had you all to myself for the last 3 years, and maybe it's time I shared you. I'm glad that they're there, Mom." I'm not going to talk about this much more. Suffice it to say that I'm just going to, if and when she goes, I'll say something about it, and then all I got to say is all my plans I've had, I'm dedicating it, all those plans I've been talking about, to my mom, and I'm going to make them count, man. The kayak trip, I'm going to get in shape for this ultra. I'm going to finish that ultra. I'm not DNFing this time. I'm going to train for it. I'm going to enter it. I'm going to go to it. I'm going to finish it. And then I've got some other plans after that, but the kayak trip and the ultra, that's what's coming up next. So I'll be in the Chicago area. It's basically going to be just a boring account of me. I'll pull the camera out and say, this is where I'm sleeping. This is how I'm setting up my camp. You know, this is how I'm panhandling. This is how much money I'm making. And I'll just document it, but without giving my location away. Try not to. And this is how you survive. You know, you have to bivouac outside. You have to save money, and you have to work, and this and that. You know, you have to panhandle a lot. You can, you know, and this is what you can accomplish. I'm going to be doing my physical fitness. I'll do a few exercise videos. Once I get in good enough shape, and I'll be showing myself training. I'll take the camera out for some runs. I'm going to get a new camera. I'm going to get a bunch of stuff up there. If I'm doing any good at all, I'm going to get a new action camera. I'm going to get a drone. I'm going to have the drone with me before I leave. I'm going to get the drone where I can practice with it, whatever. So I'm going to be doing my physical fitness. I'm going to get in the best shape of my life one last time, man, and try to stay there for a long time. Rocky Raccoon this February. The Gulf of Mexico like in November, middle of November.